Welcome. This is an XpertMart video to explain the new PEDs functionality, which is especially used in the country of Ethiopia. To use the PEDs functionality, it's quite simple actually. In the remote, you'll have to do this at each remote that's going to make sales and needs to generate PED files. You will go under Configure, and under Configure you want to go to Station Configure. In Station Configure we have lots of options, but on the left side, and you may have to move the scroll bar down the next to the last one, and that may change from one version to the other, but on the left side you're always going to find fiscal PEDs. The first thing you have to do is you have to checkbox that you want to use fiscal PEDs for Ethiopia. Within the PEDs setup, you have a POS ID, and whether that's assigned by your PEDs vendor or if you assign it yourself, but whatever you want this particular computer workstation to be identified as, right now we're just going to use that XXX. That will be the POS ID that'll show up within the PEDs files. And then you want to select the directory, and that's supposed to be, I understand, a shared directory. And in this case we just put main/PEDs files, but you can use the File Explorer and find wherever you want to put that file. And it is a good idea to use the File Explorer, and that way you avoid any errors. So that's all you have to do in the configuration. Now you need to restart XpertMart if you make any changes once you make the changes in the configuration. In this case, for the video, I've already set those up previously and restarted. It's that simple. So you're going to go to Transaction Sales, and to make your regular sales, it will also work on returns, and PEDs will show you the salesperson. If you happen to put that, we'll just throw it in here. Very special to PEDs is of course the customer, and so we're gonna just throw in a customer there, and we'll talk about the customer. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So there's two potential fields for the customer that show up, and one of them is the tax number, and the tax number is actually what we're going to be calling, what you'll be calling the TIN number, I believe it's called within PEDs and with the fiscal framework there. And the ID number, which less people use, we will be using whatever their VAT number is. So the VAT goes on the bottom, the TIN goes on the top, on this top field. Tax number is TIN, ID number would be the customer's VAT number, and of course your normal information about the customer. So when you put the customer on there, you want to make sure it has that information. And then of course you scan your products, make your sale in a normal fashion, and then we're going to really, that's all you have to do. Of course you have to say how you're going to pay for that. You're going to put cash, and again with the setup we did, it's very simple, it's very transparent. You put print, normal operation of XpertMart. In this case I'm just doing a sample, so you're done here. Now what has happened meantime though is if we go look, and I guess I should have left this open here, but let's go look, and I put this in the main directory, and in the main directory I set up a PEDs files. So I'm supposed to have set up a PEDs files, and I see that it went elsewhere. So it went to this PEDs, hopefully, yes, here's the invoice that we just made at 10:11 p.m. local time. So it generates a file, and all the files will be in here. They automatically have a the beginning. They'll say PEDs dash, and then you will have your XpertMart invoice number .xml, and so that is the whole functionality. And I'll take a quick look at this, although I will not try to explain every detail of this. That would be something that probably more on the vendor side of the PEDs, what each field's for. But it generates a standalone file, the XML file in the format selected. Here you can see the tax number, the ident number. Here's that POS ID, again, whatever you plug in there. And you know, the different fields. I could come along right here and say, you know, each item will have these fields. So in this case, there's only one item. If there's more than one item, you'll find for every line of the invoice one of these items here. It has the item item the ID, the item ID, and it actually has it in two places. It has this item ID, identifier ID, and also under here of item code, it has the same thing. We took the style, color, and size, and that's the item description. And everything else is pretty normal here. So this is the units of measure name, and that is, and again, you can look through this, and there's no attempt right now to make that complete, but it generates those files, and then from what we understand, the PEDs vendor would automatically take those files and do whatever he's supposed to do with them. So short and sweet, the PEDs operation of XpertMart, especially made for the country of Ethiopia. We'll be glad to answer any questions you have. Please direct them to our support network. Thank you.